Free Unplugged. We out here in the streets. It's your nephew from your favorite Uncle Ricky Ruckus, and I'm here with singer, songwriter, producer, Josh X. How you doing, brother?
Good, my brother. Thank you for having me. It was goody.
Nah, I appreciate you for coming out. Like, get this LA weather, man.
Feel it.
No, you a BK dude. You know what I'm saying? What is feeling like at home right now?
Brick City, man. I'm happy to feel the sun, man.
Yeah.
Vibe.
Yes, sir. So, congratulations, 2025 Our Heart Award coming up.
Yes, sir.
Today?
Yeah, today, man.
What's the
Tune
feeling?
in. It feel good, man. I've been putting a lot of work in, and it's definitely a blessing to be with the nominees, and congratulations to the whole category. And
Yeah.
it feels good to be putting on for R&B. For
That's
real.
dope.
Shout out to the label KSR. You know, we in the building.
Yes, sir. You know, you optimistic? You gonna bring it home?
Come on, man. It's all in God's hands. You
That's
know
right.
that?
Hey, let's grab a seat. Let's grab a seat.
All
All right.
let's go.
All right. So, let's go back to the beginning. How did you get your start in music?
So it wasn't a choice. Mom Dukes, being from Haiti, she had a real passion for classical music. So at 6 years old, she was like, "You gonna play this piano, you're gonna get kicked out." And me, being smart, I was like, "I'm gonna jump on the piano." So playing that Mozart, Chopin, Bach. And as I'm playing, and of course, you know, I'm realizing that I do love the instrument, but the genre of music wasn't really clicking with me.
Yeah.
Because when I would go to school and I'd play a nice little, you know, Mozart to a little shorty I was fanning, she'd just jump out the piano like, "What is this? Like, what is this?" I was like, "This that new Mozart, baby." Trying to put some swag on it. She was like, "Nah, this is not cool." So I fell in love with R&B. And when I started listening to artists like, of course, Stevie, Brian McKnight, Alicia Keys, all the artists that played the piano and sang, that's when I said, "Mom, look, I'm gonna go to college, give you the degree, the bachelor's, whatever you want, but after that, I'm gonna get into R&B." And she was like, "Boy, you can do whatever you want."
So you've been playing the piano since 6 years old. Was you nice?
I think so. Like, I had a lot of pressure on me, so I really had no choice. That belt used to be by the side of the piano. So, you know, like I said, my mom's from the West Indies, man, Haiti.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't play, you know? She didn't play. She had 5 kids. My pops wasn't around, so she was basically like thugging me out. So
keep you off the street.
Yeah, keep me off the street. And she was like, "You're not gonna go to school and be playing around on my time."
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I was nice. So
That's super dope. Was it like you know how, go dance at Christmas, go dance. Hey, Josh, come in here, play the
all her
keyboard.
friends, man, when she used to be at the crib, you know, the friends, especially the bougie friends, when they pull up, the tea's getting cooked up, the crackers. "Boy, get on the piano and play that new." Come on, man, playing some video games. Better get on that piano and play that new piece. And then they cross their legs and then.
Oh, that's dope.
You know,
At the crib.
At the crib. I'm doing little recitals, 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old. All my friends are playing dodgeball. I'm looking at the window like, "Mom, can I go play tag like a regular kid?" She's like, "You better get on this piano."
That's
She
fire,
was
though.
right, man. It ended up changing my life.
Yeah.
So I'm forever grateful for it.
That's fire. That's fire. All right, so you did work with some heavy hitters. Cardi B, Rick Ross, Jadakiss, Swiss Beats.
Yeah.
What's been the most memorable collaboration that you had out of that?
Yeah, most memorable feature for me, damn, there's a lot of people I worked with. But I would say Jadakiss, because he was the first person that jumped on my stuff. And shout out to Jada, the whole Locks, man. I did a song with each and every one of them, man. They showed me a lot of love. And Kiss is just a funny guy, man. So we was in the studio, we was having mad fun. And did a few songs with him and a few videos with him, and he's a legend, top 5 dead or alive.
How did you get in the studio with Jadakiss? Was you an unknown artist at the time?
Yeah, I was.
Come on, man.
I was.
That don't just, how does that happen?
No, I mean, we was just in the right time at the right place. And I was playing a song, and he was just like, "Who this? Who this? Who this?" And I was just like, "That's me." He was like, "That ain't you."
Y'all in the studio?
Yeah.
So you had booked the session and he just happened to have
Yeah,
all right.
and I'm playing the song. He's like, "That's not you." And I'm like, "It's me." He was like, "Nah, this is fire." I'm like, "Well, jump on it." He was like, "All right, let's get it." And I sat there and he wrote his verse in the studio, and I got a chance to experience greatness, man, as an unknown artist at the time, and I was just very humbled and blessed by that.
How old was you when this happened?
Maybe 20 years old, man. Yeah.
That's a wild story.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Kiss.
So and also I found out that you wrote the song for Empire, the Ready to Go joint.
Yeah.
How do you like?
That was a blessing too, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Swiss Beats. That was dope. I've definitely been working with Swiss for quite some time. Before that, we were just rocking the studio, and
So the relationship with Swiss came from the relationship with Jada?
Yeah, so just being around Kiss and the whole Locks family, I you know, just getting around them put me in the whole Rough Rider situation. Swiss, when Swiss found out that I was at KJLH some time ago and I was rocking with Stevie and playing and singing, performing, Swiss was blown away by that. So he was like, yo, you gotta start working with me now, you know what I mean? You gotta be with me now, we in the major leagues. I said, Swiss, whatever, man, I'm just honored that you know, wanna work with me. And I started writing with him on separate projects. And I remember I was in the city and I got a call like, yo, you gotta get here in 40 minutes. I'm like, bro, I live in Long Island, bro. Like, you know, traffic. Yeah. It's not that easy. He was like, just get here. So I got over to the studio and we was at Jungle, which is his studio, and damn, that's when I got the news like, yo, we're gonna do this Empire thing. So
Did you already had a song or they?
We created it from scratch.
Right there.
Yeah.
Was it like watching the movie? I mean, watching the show?
I was a huge fan of the show.
Oh, so
I was
knew.
hyped, you know what I mean? I watched that show every week. I ain't missed one beat of it. So when I got the call and he told me, that's why he waited to tell me in person. He was like, I know you love the show, so you're gonna do it. And I was like, oh man. And I got to it. And we wrote the song and he came and he cut the record and boom, bow.
That's a good Fox check. That's a check off Fox.
Check was heavy. 6 figures.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah, 6-figure check. You did?
Damn. Good Fox money. All right, so you said you
shout out to Fox.
Yeah, shout out to Fox. You said you was endorsed by Stevie.
Yeah.
How is that? Just, you know.
That was a blessing. Shout out to one of my mentors, Ruben Rodriguez, who brought me over here. And he was with Stevie on the road in his early career days, breaking a lot of records for Stevie. And for me, Stevie's an angel on earth, man. You know, for real. Spirit is so loving and warm, and I was just blessed to have that moment in my career. It was life-changing. I think when my mom seen me with Stevie, that's when she stopped complaining about the classical music. She was like, boy, you better sing that R&B.
Oh, so hold up. So she wanted you to do classical.
Straight up.
You went over to the R&B.
Yeah, she was tight. She was tight. You know what I mean? Still complaining, like.
Even though you're working with Jada.
Yeah. Oh, that was even worse. She's like, you with the devil now. You know, she was like, you.
Moms ain't playing.
Yeah, she's like, you in the devil. You pray today, boy?
Yeah.
Because you know they outside rappers. She's like, she hears all the stories about rappers. So she's like, oh, you really gotta pray the sins off. I'm like, Mom, it's not that bad. But when she saw Stevie doing the bop, you know Stevie got that bop. That she saw that video. She was like, ooh, boy, you gotta stay in this R&B.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I said, Ma, you switch. She was like, nah, I always wanted you to do R&B. I just wanted you to take your time. So I was like, all right, Ma, Stevie Wonder got you, bro. She got you, he got you.
All right, what's some of the best advice you got from Stevie?
Stevie told me to be an artist that continues to tell the story about love and change with my music. And he made me make him a promise in order to give me his blessings to do that. So of course, me being in that career where, you know, the music business, it's not easy to stay and not talk about the shaking, the this, the that. The real authentic love stories haven't really been a popular thing amongst my peers and certain people. Just, you know, they want to get to the club, turn up. So I was like, damn, Stevie's asking for a big promise. Because, you know, what was moving and selling wasn't really like that. But of course, I stayed true to myself. And I got 2 top 5s. Billboard records talking about love. So I feel like he was right the whole time.
He know what's going on.
Yeah, he know. Because my first record was about my top 5 record was about my dad passing to cancer, and it was called Love Takes Me Higher. And every time I listen to it, it reminds me of what Stevie told me, to write music that's gonna change the world.
That's dope. I was gonna ask you what's the most I guess the biggest song in your catalog that means the most to you. You say
Love
that
Takes
song?
Me Higher.
Yeah.
It's a special record because my pops, it's my stepfather, but he was the first guy that I saw like love my mom genuinely and treat her like a queen. And that meant the most to me. And he treated me like his own son. And watching him fight cancer for 5 years was one of the hardest things I've ever had to watch. So when I wrote the song, a CEO of my label, Shaft, he sent me the beat. It's a kind of a crazy story because I'm dealing with a producer that's from Africa and he speaks no English. And Shaft tells me, yo, we're gonna do this song. And the producer speaks not 1 cent of English. And I'm like, Shaft, I can't work with this guy. He's like, nah, trust me. And I'm going through my texts one day and I go to the beat that Shaft sent me, and I press play, and I was like, damn, he sent this to me like maybe 3-4 months before I pressed play again, and boom, the song came to me, and all of the emotions about my pops and how I was feeling just hit me, and that was my first top 5. So that's a crazy story.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
That's dope. All right, what's your creative process? Like, you get the beat, is it start with the melody, you start with songwriting, you already got the song in your head, how does that work?
For me, when I write on the piano, I start with creating the chords and just like finding the melody and the vibes with that. And then when I get on in the studio and I hear the beat, I normally start with the melodies. You know, sometimes I like to just be in the booth, like Love Takes Me Higher. I wrote pretty much in my head. I just knew where I wanted to go with it. And
that's a new way of writing nowadays. A lot of
just being in the booth, man. Cause I like the freedom of expression and knowing that I'm creating, and I'm not feeling like restricted.
You got the words and you
that's too much restriction. But when I first started, I thought it was professional to be there with the pen and the pad, you know what I mean? And front like you songwriting, you know what I mean?
And
but
it never sounds the same as
it never sounds the same. So for me now, it's just all creating and being in the booth and creating that magic, kind of freestyling what I feel.
Yeah, that's dope. Who were some of your biggest musical influences coming up? Like, I know you said 6.
Yeah.
So, you know, who?
First was Mozart, you know, Chopin, Bach, Beethoven. That was my first. I didn't get to listen to hip hop and R&B until I was like 15, 16.
Man, like, so I deal with this a lot. The way I look, you walk in a spot and it's like, tattoo. You know what I'm saying?
I went to Juilliard, so I got that all the time.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I would go like, what you about to play some, you know, and I would kill him with the
wigs blowing up.
Man, it was like, I'm like, yeah, you know, I had to stun on you real quick because you judge me by the way I look. Especially now with dreads and, you know, tattoos. Everyone, when I open up my shows and I perform, they think I'm gonna play some, you know, jazz or R&B, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with
I play those, you know, genres too, but classical music was my first, you know, inspiration. That was the first music I listened to. I had to sleep with it in the headphones. Yeah, my mom's was a gangster, like, for real, for real. Shout out to my mom.
That's so hard, because I was gonna say, you're not gonna look at nobody that look like you, and they say my first musical inspiration was Mozart. But Bach, that's crazy.
Yeah,
you know
it definitely was.
I know you blowing wigs back.
Oh, for sure. It's what got me here. It's what got me here. It's been my secret weapon. Every time I get on the stage and I'm at a show and they see me play the piano, they just think I'm gonna play some traditional stuff, and I open up with a classical piece every time, and they're like, damn, this boy just set that piano on fire.
That's dope. Do you remember the first R&B song that you started to play or learn?
Brian McKnight, Anytime.
Word.
Yeah, I had a little crush on this girl, you know what I'm saying? She was a little honey I was feeling. I pulled her to the piano at the, you know, little lunch break. And I just, you know, and she was like, oh, baby. And I was like, I'm pulling quick. That's when I knew I had to sing and play. That's when I said, oh.
That's what set it off.
I said, this is what I knew this was for me.
That's dope. All right, look, so if you could, now that you're moving around, you in the industry, if it's one artist that you could work with, out of everybody, who is that?
One
Actually,
artist.
I'm gonna give you 3. And we can do Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive? Fire. I got a chance to work with some of my favorite artists already, like Lil Wayne, Nipsey Hussle, before he passed, Mac Miller, before he passed, God rest in peace to those two. But I would say Drake. That's like, that's one of my favorite artists, for sure, for sure.
Holmes is an international superstar.
Yeah. He's definitely talented, and I love his songwriting and his melodies. You feel me?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think, you know, for me, that'd be one of my artists to definitely link up with.
That's dope. When you link with artists, do you come in with joints already ready, or you like to cook up right then?
It depends. Sometimes like the song I got with Rick Ross, All On Me, I knew that song was for Rick Ross. So when I wrote it, I was like, yo, I need Rick Ross on this. And when Rick Ross heard it, he was like, damn, I need to be on this. So I was happy that I felt it. I kind of made it knowing like, this was gonna be something he's gonna vibe with. And the first song that he heard from me was that, and he was like, yo, I want to jump on it. And I was like, all right, that's fire. Because I made it.
Bro.
I manifested that one for sure, because he says in the song, this might be the biggest song of the year. That's the intro on the song. And I'm like, damn, I was thinking about you when I wrote the song. And it's funny, because I wrote the song 3 years before I played it.
That's what I was about to ask you.
Yeah.
So when Did you know you was gonna have a meeting with Ross, or you was just like, no, I'm just.
No.
See, come on.
That's so crazy because I do believe in the power of words.
Yeah.
And what you believe in, you could bring into life. I do believe in that because that's how I live my life. And most of the things I put out there into the world since happened for me. So when I wrote the song in Miami, I was chilling. I was cutting it with Lil Wayne's engineer, and I was cutting it, and I was like, yo, Rick Ross he gonna rock with this. And everyone's looking at me like, what? I'm like, watch, he gonna rock. And then 3 years later, he jumped on it. Yeah.
That's fire.
That's crazy,
fire.
right?
That's crazy. All right, last question, man. Favorite Stevie Wonder song and why?
Oh, man.
It's a million of them.
So many, dog.
I got a favorite.
What's your favorite?
Right now, my favorite is Ass.
Yeah?
Like, that's just, when it get to that, that shit just, it do something to me, you know what I'm saying? And it
so
always
many.
switch up. It's just, you know,
I feel like Ribbon in the Sky.
Well,
Yeah, because I learned that in school. Yeah.
Playing it.
Yeah, for me.
Mine switch up every week. Do yours switch up or you just?
A lot of times,
Yeah.
for sure, especially when I'm doing birthdays, you know, because everybody wants me to sing that. But yeah, Stevie got such a catalog. When you think about his catalog, you just might get lost up in the shuffle.
Oh yeah, for real.
Because he just got so much. But the songs I learned in school, I feel like I gravitate more to.
Yeah.
Because it was just more like assignments. Like, yo, you gonna write about this, you gonna write about this. So that's the vibe.
That's dope, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yo, I appreciate you for having me,
And
brother.
congratulations
Thank you, my brother.
on winning that award tonight.
Thank you,
we
man.
gonna talk it into existence.
Let's go.
That's
Let's
how we
bring
do
it home. Let's bring it home. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
having me, brother.
Hey man, it's Radio Free Unplugged. It's your nephew from your favorite Uncle Ricky Ruckus. I'm here with Josh X.
Yes.
You know what it is.